Chosen ones, there comes a moment in every soul's journey when the heavens withhold a gift, not out of cruelty, but out of divine timing. You have prayed, wondered, and questioned why certain doors remained locked, why blessings seemed delayed, and why the path ahead was shrouded in mystery. The truth is not that you were denied. It is that the appointed hour had not yet arrived. God was holding something in His hands, waiting for the very instant you would align your will with His and make the one decision that would alter the course of your destiny. This was never about chance nor coincidence. Every setback, every delay, and every unanswered prayer was a design woven into the tapestry of your life. The silence you mistook for abandonment was, in reality, the stillness before revelation. A heavenly door had been waiting in the corridors of eternity, sealed not with a lock of metal, but with the unseen key of choice. And until now, you had not stepped into the alignment required to see it open. Many before you stood at this very threshold, but turned back, unable to perceive the weight of the moment. But you have been brought here with a purpose. That decision you have hesitated on, that step you thought too small or too risky, is the very act God has been waiting for. Like a lamp hidden beneath a veil, the moment you choose, the veil will lift, and light will burst forth where there was once only shadow. There is something upper at play here, something that goes beyond your understanding of time and chance. Destiny is not delayed, it is guarded, and only now has heaven deemed you ready to face the truth that was concealed from your eyes. The door is not simply before you, it is within you, waiting for your courage, your faith, your surrender. Long before you were born, long before your name was spoken into the air, there was a door, not carved from wood or iron, but formed of light and shadow, hidden in plain sight, where only the chosen eyes could eventually find it. This door was not placed by human hands, nor could it be opened with earthly strength. It stood as a silent witness through generations, waiting, watching, guarding what had been set aside for a moment that had not yet come. Every age had its seekers, men and women who felt the pull of destiny within their bones, who wandered deserts, crossed seas, and searched the forgotten corners of the earth, believing they could force the door open. Yet it never yielded. The door was bound to time, to divine sequence, to a single decision that only one could make in the appointed hour. Those who tried before found nothing but echoes of their own desire, for the door would not move until heaven itself commanded it. There is a reason why delay often feels unbearable. It is because the soul can sense what lies beyond, yet the flesh resists the patience required to wait. You have known this tension. You have felt the weight of promises that seemed just out of reach, of dreams pressed against an invisible barrier. What you may not have realized is that the delay was never denial. The door itself was alive, holding its breath, waiting for the alignment of spirit and choice. The centuries of silence were not wasted. They were a refining fire, a slow preparation, a weaving of history that would converge into this moment. You stand now at the threshold of something generations longed to see, but were never permitted to touch. This door has been waiting not just for anyone, it has been waiting for you. The timing was written into your very existence, the decision etched into the core of your soul, long before you even knew there was a choice to be made. Silence has a weight that cannot be measured by sound, for it is not the absence of noise, but the presence of waiting. Heaven often speaks most clearly in the moments when the world grows quiet, when the clamor of voices fades, and you are left alone with the rhythm of your own breath. It is in this stillness that commands are birthed, not as shouts from the sky, but as whispers that rise like smoke from the altar of eternity. Many mistake this silence for abandonment, yet those who have walked with God know it is the pause before instruction, the calm before the unveiling. For years, perhaps even lifetimes, you may have cried out for direction, asking why the heavens seemed sealed, why prayers went unanswered, why doors refused to move. But silence is not empty. Silence is filled with intention. It is the womb in which divine words take form, hidden until the perfect hour. It was in such silence that Yeshua himself often withdrew, stepping away from the multitudes to pray alone, retreating into the quiet mountainsides where only the Father's voice could break the stillness. His example reveals a mystery, that silence is not a void, but a sacred meeting place. You may not have realized that the long delays, the unanswered questions, and the nights when heaven seemed silent were in fact the preparation for a single command. The silence carved space in your heart, stripping away distractions until you were able to hear the faintest whisper. Had the command come sooner, you might not have noticed it, buried beneath the noise of your striving. But now the stillness has sharpened your ears. Now you are ready. The silence before the command is a test of endurance, a proving ground for faith. It asks a question without words. Will you trust what you cannot yet see, or will you abandon the path because the heavens remain quiet? Many fail in this silence, turning back to familiar comforts, unwilling to endure the weight of waiting. Yet for those who remain, something far greater is about to be spoken. There are roads that anyone can walk, well lit by the world, crowded with the footsteps of those who choose ease over purpose. Yet, hidden among them is a path unseen by most, a way that bends not toward comfort, but toward truth. It is narrow, winding, often obscured by shadows, but it is the very way that leads to the fulfillment of what was promised. Yeshua once said that few find this way, not because it is closed, but because it is veiled from the eyes of those unwilling to see. The hidden path is never forced upon a soul. It must be chosen. When Yeshua spoke of this way, he revealed a mystery that has echoed through generations. His words were not merely instruction, but invitation, an opening into a reality where heaven and earth converge. Those who heard him felt the stirrings of something beyond human understanding, yet many turned away, unable to abandon the broad road they already knew. To follow where he pointed required not only faith, but surrender, a willingness to step into the unknown with nothing but trust as a guide. This hidden path has remained through the ages, waiting for those willing to walk it. It is not marked by signs the world can recognize, nor does it boast the approval of crowds. Instead, it draws the heart with a quiet pull, a sense that destiny lies beyond the next bend. You may have felt it yourself, the subtle nudge that whispered you were meant for more than what was visible. Every delay, every unanswered prayer was not a rejection but a redirection, pointing you closer to this concealed way. Yet even when the path is revealed, it demands a choice. To step forward means leaving behind the safety of the familiar. It means trusting the hand of God to guide where sight cannot. Yeshua's pointing was never about showing an easy route. It was about awakening courage, awakening obedience, awakening the willingness to follow light into the places the world calls dark. Long before you drew your first breath, your life was etched into a record not made of paper or stone, but of light itself. These scrolls do not fade, nor can they be altered by human hands. They are written in the language of eternity, carrying within them the details of every step, every choice, every moment that would shape the unfolding of your destiny. Yet within their brilliance, there is a secret. Not everything is predetermined. Some passages are blank, waiting for a decision to be made, a choice to be sealed that would shift the entire course of the story. The scrolls of light are not mere records of the past. They are living testimonies of heaven's design. They hold the knowledge of what you were created to become. But they also leave space for the will you carry within you. God, in His infinite wisdom, ordained that your life would not be a script to be passively read, but a covenant to be actively written. Every decision is like ink upon those glowing pages, altering the lines, weaving new connections, awakening futures that could not exist until the choice was made. When Yeshua walked among men, He often spoke of destiny as a marriage between divine will and human obedience. He declared that those who follow the Father's voice walk not only into their purpose, but into what was written long before time began. His own life was a fulfillment of prophecy, a living example of words inscribed in light ages before He came. And yet, even He had to choose, surrendering in the garden to the will of the Father, etching His decision across the scrolls of history. Your decision may seem small, hidden, unnoticed by the world, but in the halls of eternity, it echoes louder than thunder. What appears to be a single step of obedience can rewrite the course of nations, can shift generations, can awaken what has been waiting in silence. The scrolls of light are watching, waiting, ready to receive the ink of your choice. There are seasons when you search for answers everywhere, within books, in voices of authority, in fleeting signs scattered across the world, only to discover that what you sought was with you all along. The key you longed for was never in the hands of strangers or locked away in unreachable places. It rested silently within your grasp, unnoticed, waiting for the moment you would recognize it for what it truly was. God never denied you access. He allowed the blindness to remain until the right time, for the power of the key would have been wasted if used too soon. This key is not metal, nor carved by human skill. It is a key made of choices, faith, and surrender. It is shaped by trust in the unseen, by the willingness to walk through uncertainty, and by the courage to act when the world demands hesitation. Many live their entire lives unaware they carry such a key, never realizing that their obedience is the very thing that unlocks the impossible. What you have considered ordinary in yourself may in fact be the most extraordinary tool heaven has entrusted to you. Yeshua once told His disciples that the kingdom of heaven was like a treasure hidden in a field, a discovery so valuable that one would give up everything to obtain it. The key you hold is much like that treasure, hidden in plain sight, underestimated until the moment you are ready to pay the cost of using it. He hinted that what seemed small in your hand could, in truth, open realms beyond imagination. that faith the size of a mustard seed could move mountains that have stood for centuries. Every trial you have faced, every delay that felt like denial, has been forging the shape of this key within you. With each moment of trust, each decision to endure, the key has grown clearer until now, at last, you stand ready to use it. And when it turns within the lock of the door that has waited for you, what lies beyond will not only change your path, but alter the very course of history written around you. There are places hidden from the eyes of the world, chambers not built by human architects, but carved into the fabric of eternity. These spaces exist in silence, veiled in mystery, waiting for those chosen to enter. The secret chamber is not reached by maps or measured by distance. It is found when the heart surrenders to the divine pull that leads beyond the visible. It is here that the air feels different, heavy with the weight of presence, where every step carries the sense that unseen eyes are watching, and every breath stirs with the awareness of holiness. Those who enter this place often describe hearing what they cannot explain. It is not a sound that strikes the ear, but a resonance within the soul, a whisper that reverberates through the very marrow of being. These are the echoes of Yeshua, words spoken long ago that still move like ripples across time. His teachings, his prayers, his surrender, each still vibrates in the hidden chamber, as though eternity itself recorded them, ensuring they would never fade. They return again and again, carrying strength to those who will listen, courage to those who will remain still enough to hear. The chamber is a place of unveiling. It strips away illusions, tearing down the layers of pride and fear until only the truth remains. Here, there is no audience, no applause, no distraction, only the raw encounter with what has been waiting for you since the foundation of your calling. The echoes of Yeshua do not condemn, nor do they flatter. They remind, they awaken, they stir the hidden places of the heart. His words are not trapped in history, but alive, speaking with the same authority that stilled storms and opened blind eyes. To step into this chamber is to step into a moment where past, present, and future collide. You feel the weight of what has already been spoken over you, and the trembling of what has yet to come. And as the whispers deepen, you realize they are not only echoes from the past, but invitations into a living dialogue. Every destiny carries within it a trial, not designed to break you, but to prove what has already been placed inside you. The trial that stands before you is not an accident, nor is it the cruelty of chance. It is the furnace where the decision you carry is tested, refined, and revealed for what it truly is. The path you have walked has led you here, to a threshold where the weight of heaven seems to rest upon your next move. What feels like opposition is, in truth, the proving ground for the choice that will unlock everything hidden until now. Trials often come disguised as impossibilities. They press you to the edge of your strength, stripping away every false reliance until only faith remains. It was the same for those who came before you, men and women who found themselves pressed beyond reason yet chose to believe anyway. The weight of the trial is not a punishment, but a measure of how valuable the decision is. The greater the destiny, the greater the test. And though it feels as though the heavens are silent, the eyes of eternity are fixed upon this moment, waiting to see what you will do. In his final hours, Yeshua himself stood before the greatest trial of all. In the garden, sweat like blood fell to the ground as he wrestled with the cost of obedience. He prayed not for escape, but for alignment, declaring that the will of the Father must be done, even when it meant surrendering his own. That trial was not a sign of weakness, but the revelation of strength, the moment where the choice carried the weight of the world. His victory in that hour became the opening of a door for all who would follow after. So too, your trial is not the end, but the unveiling. The decision before you may appear small in the eyes of others, but within it rests the unfolding of promises written in light. It is not the difficulty of the trial that matters, but the endurance of your choice. There are rare moments in the timeline of existence when heaven itself pauses, when the eternal rhythm seems to hold its breath, awaiting the weight of a single choice. These are not ordinary hours, for in them the unseen becomes fragile, bending toward the decision of one soul. The angels who never sleep stop their movement. The stars themselves seem to shine with slower fire, and all of creation turns its gaze toward what is unfolding. The silence of such a moment is unlike any other. It is charged, alive, trembling with the knowledge that what happens next will echo through eternity. This stillness is not without reason. It comes only when destiny collides with readiness, when the long seasons of waiting and trials finally converge into one defining act. You may not feel ready, you may not believe the weight rests on you, but heaven does not wait for the perfect vessel. It waits for the willing one. That is why the pause comes. It is the gathering of eternity around your decision, the holding of breath as the heavens align themselves with the outcome of your obedience. In the days of Yeshua, there was such a moment. As he stood before the tomb of Lazarus, silence stretched through the crowd. Heaven leaned close as he lifted his voice, and the command shattered death itself. That instant was not just a miracle. It was the moment when heaven stood still, watching the sun speak life where decay had reigned. The power of such pauses is not limited to the past. They still occur, waiting for chosen ones to act in faith and shift what has been thought unmovable. When the heavens stand still, you are not simply making a choice for yourself. You are weaving a thread into the tapestry of generations, igniting consequences that stretch far beyond your sight. One act of faith can ripple into futures you will never see, changing lives yet unborn, altering histories yet unwritten. That is the weight of this pause, the reason eternity itself has stopped to watch. There are voices that command, shaking mountains and parting seas, and there are voices that whisper, carrying more weight than thunder. The whisper of Yeshua is not loud, yet it pierces through every layer of distraction, cutting to the very core of who you are. It is not spoken to the crowd, but to the heart, a voice that leans close in the quiet moments when the world cannot hear. In his whisper lies both invitation and decision, to step through the door now open before you, or to remain standing outside in hesitation. The path you have walked has not been easy. Every silence, every trial, every hidden path has brought you to this place, and the door that waited for centuries now stands unlocked. Yet the door will not move on its own. It does not swing open automatically at the sound of your name. It requires the step, the movement of faith, the surrender of fear. The whisper does not coerce. It does not force. It simply calls, steady and patient, reminding you that the threshold is here, and the time is now. When Yeshua walked among men, he often said, "Follow me." These two words were simple, but they carried eternity within them. Some dropped everything and stepped forward, their lives forever changed. Others hesitated, bound by what they could not leave behind, and the door before them closed, silent and unyielding. The whisper was the same for each, yet the response made all the difference. His voice never demanded. It revealed the cost and allowed the heart to decide. Now that same whisper reaches you, asking if you will step into what has been held back for so long. The weight of heaven's stillness still lingers. The key you never knew you carried has turned. The trial has tested your resolve. Everything has led you here. To step through is to embrace the unknown with trust that light will meet you on the other side. To remain outside is to choose the comfort of familiarity, yet at the cost of destiny withheld. There comes a line in every journey where the weight of waiting collides with the urgency of action. A line so thin that it feels almost invisible, yet so powerful that stepping across it transforms everything. This line is the threshold, the dividing place between what has been delayed and what is finally revealed. For so long you have walked with the sense that something was near, but not yet yours, that promises hovered just out of reach, withheld until the appointed time. Now that threshold stands before you, glowing with the light of destiny, daring you to cross. The threshold is not merely a doorway, it is a revelation. It holds within it the memories of every unanswered prayer, every moment of silence, every trial endured. It gathers all the fragments of your journey and weaves them together, showing you that none of it was wasted. The delay was never to deny you but to prepare you, to strengthen the heart that would have faltered had the door opened too soon. Now, standing here, you realize that delay was a teacher, shaping you for the weight of destiny on the other side. Crossing this place requires more than desire. It demands surrender. It is not about pushing the door with force, but about releasing what has bound you to hesitation. Faith is the key that turns at this moment, and courage is the step that carries you forward. The threshold does not open for the doubter, nor does it yield to the one who clings to the past. It responds only to trust, to the willingness to leave behind what is known in exchange for what is promised. This is why heaven has been waiting, why the silence was heavy, why the trials pressed so deeply. Every moment has converged into this crossing. To remain on this side is to live in perpetual delay, circling promises but never entering them. To step forward is to embrace destiny itself, to walk into the pages of the scrolls that have been glowing with your name from the beginning.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.